Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair. Calm down and get your teeth and gift at the Sci-Fi Center. We got almost everything a geek could want at the Sci-Fi Center. You name it, we got it. Star Trek, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, and everything in between at the Sci-Fi Center.
Welcome to Wednesday, or the last 7 minutes of it. Sorry, I was late. I had to upload. Something's wrong with the intro. It kept sticking and staggering, so it kept screwing around. Welcome to the Midnight Express, the Wednesday hump day version, and special for this Wednesday, because that's why they did it, we have the Wednesday trailer. I very much enjoyed Wednesday season 1. I'm not the biggest Tim Burton fan in the world. So when I heard he was going to be involved in this, I was like, but then when I watched it, I loved it. And I'm glad we're getting more of it. Also, I did not know, I knew we were getting a Predator Badlands trailer. I wasn't exactly sure when, and I was pleasantly surprised to have one of those. Dan Trachtenberg is back in the saddle again, so I can only expect good things from him, since the last thing he did Predator-wise was one of the better Predator outings. Let's say hi to the chat, and yes, R.I.P. Steve Mongo McMichaels. Man, I knew who he was, with the Bears. He was Hall of Famer with the Bears before he was a wrestler, before he joined the Fourth Horsemen. Everything I could see of the guy was a big, giant teddy bear, big, lovable dude. He died from complications due to LAS, Lou Gehrig's disease. He had had it for quite some time, and generally when you get that, some people can live a long time with it. Some people, can maintain a certain level of health, like Stephen Hawkins. I mean, even though he was paralyzed, he had that disease from the age he was in his early 30s all the way up until he died at the age of 76, 77. So, well, rest in peace, man. This, like I said, you kind of knew it was coming. The family had been posting pictures of him, and he wasn't looking well, as expected. And then today, the news dropped that he had passed away. So rest in peace. Age 67, too. It's just far too young. I heard about this. Yeah, I heard about the Jonestown thing. I thought somebody told me Leonardo DiCaprio might be playing Jim Jones. And did you see the news about A24 doing an Anthony Bourdain biopic called Tony? I heard, I didn't know who was doing it, but I heard that there was going to be a biopic about Anthony Bourdain. I was watching. The last thing I saw was the one that CNN did, and it was really hard to watch. So I'm assuming that whatever else that they do is going to dive into some of the things that I did not see coming until he committed suicide. Because, like I said, that one took me by surprise. That one and then Chris Cornell one, but the Anthony Bourdain one, of all the ones that really just, I remember being up early in the morning and hearing about that. I was watching the news and it broke through the news that he had done that. And so, yeah, I don't know if I can watch. It's really hard for me to watch Anthony Bourdain Parts Unknown now because it's like, I can't get that out of my head, but eventually I'll have to. Hello, Hal Jordan. How are you doing? Yes, people, please like, subscribe, share the gossip. Share the gospel, not the gossip. All right, Rational Skeptic. William, don't you hate it when you see people post on Twitter saying directors should be able to direct a Marvel film without being beholden to Kevin Feige's rules and MCU or Lord? Well, then don't take the job. Because more than any other producer and any other studio head, Kevin Feige probably interferes more than anybody you know. You think that what they did with Zack Snyder was something? Kevin, magnify it, multiply it by 1,000. Kevin Feige probably interferes way more than. But here's the caveat, and here's the difference between the two. Most of the time, and almost all of the time, when Kevin Feige does it, he's been doing it so long, it's seamless. You don't know about it. But rest assured that Kevin Feige steps in and makes decisions over directors and producers because it's his ass on the line. It's his project. He is the studio head, and studio heads always do. The only reason we notice it when it came to Warner Brothers is because they screwed up. When you don't screw up, no one notices. It's seamless. So yeah, if you don't want to have Kevin Feige interfering in it's their project, it's their IP. So you might want to skip that job. How you doing, Joga? I have 2 Aussies in here. Let's go for 3. No, I didn't. I don't even. I heard some buzz in the background, but I've had a lot going on today. I don't. Do I want to know? Last time Shannon Sharp popped up in my feed is because he left his phone on while he was doing his girlfriend. Right? That's the last time. And joining us, late as fuck. Hey, what's up, Brad? What's going on?
Yeah, what's going on?
All right. Now that we are whole, let's see.
Yeah. We have the real star of the show here finally.
Yeah, dude. We can put that to test whenever you want to.
Did you? Well, I guess since we are both here, did you? Well, I mean, it's in the thumbnail. Do we want to go ahead and get demonetized?
Let me say hi to the chat, and then we're going to jump right into it.
All
right. Let's see. Yeah, he's a real wrestler for a guy that played in NFL. Yeah. I think I'm pretty. Yeah, he was on the 85 team, the 85 Bears team. After rewatching the F4 trailer, got more excited. My dad said the style is very unique. Yeah, it's unlike any Marvel movie I've seen. I'm really, like I said, it's my number one movie. Dude, I don't know. I actually clicked on the help button to see if there was anything anybody could look into when it comes to YouTube as far as our notifications, because it really does affect the channel. I mean, we are, for those of you who want to watch us live, the vast majority of us who watch us later in the day at a decent hour, but there are some of you who do like to watch us live and do want to be notified. And it kind of sucks. I get emails and I get messages. I would have came in if I'd known you were live. And I'm like, I mean, I just really, I can post it and I can repost it, but that alert bell is there for a reason. So yeah. When I say a person playing in the 80s, how physical? Yeah, dude, NFL in the 80s and 90s, right to the mid 90s, was a brutal game. You could actually get to the quarterback. I mean, I think Steve Young lost 7 years of his career. Same thing with Joey Aikman. They both had to retire because of concussions. But you see, what's been happening with people in concussions the last 15, 20 years. Junior Seau, guys like that. Even in wrestling game, those black spots in your brain that really affect the quality of life. So, yeah, you embarrass the show on a normal basis, but I've never used that to shut you out. No, it's a comedian from SNL who did the show Barry, who's going to play. Oh, I know who you're talking about. I can't think of his name right now, but I know exactly who you're talking about. Brad Gunn. Okay. All right. Well, hey, here we go. let's go
Is
ahead
James
and
Gunn, is he late for stuff? Or-
who?
James Gunn, is that like why he's putting my name there?
I don't know. It's a joke frame of mind.
Oh, by the
All
way, Aaron, we'll get back to this. I'm glad you mentioned that. I was actually going to bring this up to William on the show tonight, because he.
Well,
he was-
go ahead and do that before I go into these trailers.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Well, it's about. See if I can find it here. He was interviewed. And he was talking to like we're saving. No, let me see if I can Google it. But he was basically like, Netflix is saving Hollywood because it's people don't want to go. It's very. I need to pull it up.
Oh,
like,
I and he's right.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't get to read
all.
all of it. I got the gist of it, but
Okay,
I am inclined to agree with him.
Yeah, because I only saw this article actually in the last hour or so. But yeah, here we go. Is it up yet? Yeah, there we go. So Ted Sarandos says theatrical experience is an outmoded idea for most people. Claims Netflix is saving Hollywood. Now let me try to go down to his actual quote to sort of talk about the meat of. Out of my way. Referring to decline of box office, he asked rhetorically, "What is the consumer trying to tell us?" He then answered as a question that they like to watch movies at home. Of the communal aspect of theatrical moviegoing, the Netflix honcho admitted he loved theaters, but said of the experience, "I believe it's an outmoded idea for most people, not for everybody." So what I was saying is it's often that the entertainment industry doesn't get treated like a real business, and that's one of the examples of it. Okay. Well, I think I meant more like tariff related there. Yeah, there it is. But
he's mostly right. He may think he's an asshole. He may not have put it in the most articulate way you could have put that in, but he's mostly right. It's an option. It's a feasible option that people, the more that's out there, the more it is people are going to grow accustomed to it. And as you get on, and the next generation is not going to feel the same way about the box office as we do. We're kind of in a hybrid straddling situation. But for the reasons I bring up 1,000 times a week and other reasons, the theater experience, these new generations, because of a lot of circumstances, are not as tied to the cinematic experience as like you or me maybe. And like you said, he was right. And it's not everybody, but but there is a significant amount of people who don't feel the same way about the theater experience as everybody else does, or the other half does. And then when you throw in finances, when you throw in wife, kids, house, mortgage, gas, food, snacks, toys, the whole experience, by the time you actually get the full experience, you may be down $2 bills if you actually want to do it to where you have an experience. And when you start cutting the corners and start, well, I'm going to sneak in food, or I'm going to go at this part of the day, you actually start truncating, you actually start abbreviating your experience. You're not getting the full experience. So when you start doing that cutting, some people are like, well, if I'm going to cut all that out of experience, I may as well just stay home. So he's right. I mean, he kind of put it in a cold and crass little bit of way there, but I saw this before, and I am inclined to agree with him. So, okay. All right. So let's go ahead and lose some money.
Yeah, well, let's talk about a movie that we are going to be seeing in theaters this fall, which we're only seeing in theaters because the movie preceding it on streaming did so well.
I'll go ahead and do Predator Badlands first, then I'll do Wednesday. There's more to talk about with Wednesday, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, because there is something with Predator that you're probably not going to like. I'm sure you saw floating around.
Oh, the one skull.
Yeah. Well, the whole idea,
as long as like I said, as long as they're not doing a movie
to Alien.
I don't think that's. Yeah. I like I said, if it's Dan Trachtenberg doing it, I'm not as adverse to it. I don't think we need to see it. I think Aliens versus Predator is like the same people who think Daredevil and Spider-Man need to be joined at the hip. Sometimes the IPs can exist on their own and just do fine that way. I know it's hard to believe. But it does happen every now and then. All right, let's blow this up and unmute so we can get demonetized the right way.
I didn't think you survived. You're hunting something that can't be killed.
All right. Well, that looks like fun.
Oh,
Oh,
right
by
there,
the way,
Phil's reaction right there.
what's up?
That was Phil's reaction. It was like the immediate like video it led into.
Oh, hey, so real quick before we jump into that on to tail end of that Tetsurando's thing, it goes back to when David Zassoff 2 years ago came out here and stood in front of the crowd of people at CinemaCon and lied to them. He told people, in my opinion, what they wanted to hear. And there's a bunch of people like in our chats and in our mentions and all that are always, that favor the box office, but don't want to, understand or comprehend the financial reality of the situation. So just wanted to add on to that.
Real quick,
Badlands looks good.
Real quick, Droga, are you trying to scare the shit out of me every time you DM me something? Because he sent me another one of those, like he put someone else's face on my head. It was just, I don't even know who is this on this one. Last time he did Zack Snyder. This time he did who? I don't even see. Yeah, you guys. I'm sorry. You guys are not going to be spared this. Okay, if I have to suffer through this, you do too. Look at this. This Droga sent me this. Go. And see, it always like it just hops off the screen. It just.
I don't even know who that's supposed to be.
Yeah, starts. It's like it's going to rip my heart out looking at it. It's like, Droga, are you trying to give me a heart attack, dude? Or wait, is this the whole thing? Like, Brett, is that it? Is that like James Gunn without his glasses on and with his beard?
Oh,
shaved?
that's what it is. Okay.
Okay, yeah, he says that it's James Gunn, like no beard, no glasses. Okay, man. You got
What,
stuff.
what are you talking about, Antonio?
You've probably taken like 5 years off my life already with these two pictures you sent, Droga. So please, man, you gotta stop. Okay. Anyway.
Antonio, we typed this because I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Okay, so going back to Predator Badlands, though. Oh, down, love it. This look, and this really has a gimmick to it because A, it takes place in the future, and B, this is the first time the Predator is going to be the protagonist. So, I mean, just off the bat, I mean, this is a completely different kind of Predator movie than we saw before. And Dan Trachtenberg is he's just got, and I had the privilege to interview the man too. So he's just got.
You're a journalist. I would hope you would interview directors.
Yeah, one of many, man. He's definitely got my total confidence with everything he's doing with Predator. This really looks like something. I was like, I can't wait for this. And Prey was like, again, I go back and forth. Like the original Prey, like they are so neck and neck for me. Like,
see, me, they're not even close. I love Prey, but it's not even in the same solar system as the original movie. It's a good movie.
Yes,
but you're talking about a legendary movie that it's not.
Yes, it is. It is. It takes place in the same solar system.
It doesn't. Yeah, it's not in the same.
I think you froze, man. Oh shit! Did William just freeze?
Yeah.
Okay, you froze, man. You're good now.
Not me. There's a difference between something being really good and then something being great. Predator is great. Prey is really good. They shouldn't. No, that's just for me. I don't feel like I'm already playing 3 trailers that I'm already going to get stripped down for. I'm not going to go see. I Know What You Did Last Summer. Why would I play the trailer for what we're going to see? I'll get around to it, maybe. Well, once again, what you consider trash doesn't mean anything to the consumers that are having to pay to go see these movies. Even if I agreed with you, it doesn't matter. It's where the money is at. These people who are going to see these movies aren't the pinky people with their wine cup up like this. They're not looking at it that way. They're looking at what they can afford to do, as far as family entertainment goes, and that's what it comes down to. I mean, sometimes, believe it or not, quality, going to see Scorsese might not be at the top of their list. I mean, it's just what can I afford to do?
Yeah, Aaron and Brad agree on something. Yeah, it's like we never see that happen, and it's like we have no idea why that happens.
Because you're both wrong a lot. So.
Well, but here's another thing too that people spotted in the trailer. I'm going to go ahead and pull up. Where is it? Yeah, no. This is like the trophy room, so this shows like a lot of the skulls, and I think that one right here, that's the I think the xenomorph skull right here, isn't it?
No.
Like a gorilla here, and that's like a larger like humanoid kind of alien.
Where are you seeing the xenomorph skull?
It's right there, but it's like it's not in profile. It's placed like forward. I think that's it. I could be wrong.
I don't think it's it, but like
Yeah.
I said,
Look at this other skull right here in the middle. Like,
well, it's the Independence Day skull.
Yeah, but so as a
Are they the same company?
Yeah, they're all under.
No, we don't need an Independence Day crossover. Why the fuck would we do that?
Because it can't possibly be worse than Resurgence.
Why the fuck? Tell you what, Fox, make a good Independence Day movie first. Erase Independence Day 2 before you start smearing it onto another franchise. That's the last thing you need to do. Make a movie that pretty much makes me and everyone else forget about Resurgence before you do anything with the Predator. And the first things first.
Well, I mean, like legally they could do it though. It's like because they're all under Fox.
Okay, they could do Aliens versus Predator too, and look at how Requiem turned into.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like this is not from a legal standpoint, whether or not.
No, legal standpoint. All right, let's actually be creative and quality wise though. Make a good ID4 sequel before you go trying to do the let's throw everything in the refrigerator into the same salad bullshit again. Why? Just stop. Do we have? I mean, is that all fans can do?
You know, it would be pretty awesome, like seeing a Predator like slug one of the Independence Aliens and go like, "Welcome to Earth" in his language.
That would be stupid. That would be really no. Let's let these franchises rebuild themselves to credibility before, because like I said, where you left Independence Day is not something I want to see again in any movie until you correct that. I don't want to see the Predator messing around with that alien. I don't want to see the Xenomorph messing around with that alien. Give me a good, proper sequel to Independence Day. Let that do something, and then maybe somewhere down the line, because right now I don't want to ever see that franchise again.
He's going to get asked about this Independence Day.
Yeah, because like I said, it's the same people who are like, they decry franchises, but they want everybody to be a permanent guest star in somebody else's stuff. And then when you look at it, it ends up sucking because you only have so much time to tell a story. All right, are you telling a Predator story?
AVP Battle for Independence. But yeah, maybe that might be a good title. That's going to be something that gets somebody fired. I'm not the one who put that skull in there. It's like, I mean, he made the choice to put it there.
That's where you get people and executive fired when you do stuff like that, because the people who release Resurgence shouldn't be around anymore. So why would you want to? Where are you going to take that franchise from that? Where are you starting with Independence Day before you stuff that awful movie? You're going to start from Resurgence? Ugh. Pass.
It makes sense why the Locust alien are looking for new homes, because the Predators are kicking the asses all over the cosmos.
Nah. All right, let's get to like actual stuff.
Dan, if you're watching, it's like I'm not necessarily like jonesing for like the.
I would be disappointed in you.
If anybody can pull it off, I think he could do it.
Yeah, but not now. Not now. We're still in the process of rehabilitating Predator. I don't know. We're still in the process of rehabilitating Alien because because we never really followed up Prometheus. We have the last movie, and then we have a show. Let these things happen, and let's see where they go before we go into the shit salad portion of the phase and start throwing everything together. Let's see how Alien Earth does. Let's see how Badlands does. Let's see how the other Predator project that's coming on does. And let's see if somebody, gets enough balls to open up the wallet to Will Smith and said, how much do you want to fix this? Let's do all of those things first before we start throwing everything together. Because right now, at the state that these things are in, that's going to be a nasty vomit-worthy salad. Let's not do that. I
bet he'd be down for an Independence Day Alien and Predator crossover.
No, he wouldn't. I could see him rejecting that because he's not synonymous with those other franchises. He's synonymous with Independence Day, the good Independence Day. I could actually see Will Smith saying, no, I'm not going to come back if you're going to make some fruit salad bullshit. You're going to put Captain Hiller or Colonel Hiller or General Hiller back in there, I'm down. And this time they need to open up that safe deposit box and give him what he needs, because once he decided, I'm not even looking at your post.
Well,
today.
Fourth, there's already
It's
it's called Soldier. It already has its own crossover.
I'm not driving off the highway to go into buffoonery tonight. No, if Will Smith wants to come back and do Independence Day, that's the only circumstances that franchise should ever be revisited. Are we in remedial school? We don't learn what happens when you bring everybody back, but the actual man that made, that was a big part of the movie. Why would we do anything with Independence Day without Will Smith on board first? In fact, that's the first question you ask. Somebody comes in and say, hey, boss, I got an idea for a new Independence Day movie. Well, has Will Smith signed on? Well, no, but get out. Don't even let that person finish the sentence. In fact, if you have one of those Jabba trap doors where you can just hit the button and that person can go down to the mailroom, hit that. Anybody who comes to you, Fox, with anything to do with Independence Day and the Fresh Prince ain't involved, you need to politely turn them around, push them outside the door, close the door, and lock the door. Do no more.
Going into a little bit of also some of the little tiny Easter eggs people have picked up on in the trailers. Here's
made up. Let's be fair, made up.
It's not made up if it's like right in your face. It's like first one.
Just like the Xenomorph scroll that may not be a Xenomorph scroll. Somebody just made that up.
This is where they're talking about like the alien. You see the Weyland-Yutani logo, and so this character probably is a robot. If it got like a.
That's clearly an android. Where do you see the Weyland? I can't.
Well, you gotta look kind of close, but it's like you look. Yeah, you got to look up kind of close, but
we'll probably have to zoom in. Could be a bishop.
And the next one is this guy says a skull from War of the Worlds aliens. Well, you're gonna have to direct that one. I don't know. I spelled that one in this one, man. So you're gonna have to fill me on that. A T-Rex skull. They're right there. The T-Rex skull. So they've been hunting dinosaurs on Earth.
Or could be a dinosaur from another planet. Could be another planet where dinosaurs are still
that turned out exactly like our dinosaurs.
It's a reptile.
And then maybe you might have been talking about here where we saw like War of the Worlds, like you might have been talking about here because I don't see any like real like standout like. Here's another one like the Weyland-Yutani logo right here on the truck right here.
I'm gonna have to zoom in because I didn't see any of this sort of thing. Can you zoom in?
Oh, okay. Look. Well, I don't know if I can zoom in. Can I zoom in? I don't know if I can. Yeah, you might have to do that, man. Is there any way you can zoom with the?
If we upload, we'd have to upload the pic and then zoom in on it. We'll do that. We can do that this weekend.
Okay, so we'll do that. Yeah, but anyway, that's a little bit. The other thing, and let me go and read off from the Wikipedia page for some kind of the summary of what this will all be about. So. According to the summary for premise on Predator Badlands on Wikipedia, in the future on a remote planet, a young predator, who by the way, this predator is going to be named Deck. We have a predator that has a name.
I don't want a predator with a name. He's like a pet. Come here, Deck. Come on.
Well, we've kind of had names where we had the Wolf Predator in AVP Requiem. I
don't count that because it was a horrible movie.
So a young predator outcast from his clan finds an unlikely ally in Tia, who's Elle Fanning's character. And this does confirm she is an android. It says Weyland-Yutani android, and embarks on a treasure search.
Where are you getting this? What are you getting this from? Because I want to make sure we're getting it from the actual. Are we getting this from Fox or from their?
Well, I'm reading from the Wikipedia page for it right now.
Oh, okay. So we got to be careful that's because Wikipedia can get edited by knuckleheads. Like I just want to make sure that So far, this is what we're, just make sure we're reading it from, you say you're reading it from Wikipedia because, like I said, Wikipedia is something that can be edited by the masses, like you, me, somebody can get in there and edit that information. So just made it, because I don't want to look like a jackass later on.
But anyway, that's kind of like the plot synopsis of Predator Badlands.
Is there an official Fox synopsis of it yet? They should.
This isn't from Fox. This is from Walt Disney. This is like
with them, yeah.
And this is from CinemaCon actually this year, where I guess they put out the synopsis for it. Let's see if I can actually get to it here because I clicked the link for it from the Wikipedia.
I'm looking it up too to see if I can. Because Wikipedia most of the times is good, but there have been like Fourth went in there and I edited.
Yeah, Fourth and said a whole bunch of shit about it. I like Meet the Spartans.
I just want to make sure.
I still remember when he did that right in the middle of the stream for it.
And man, let's go look at it. While he's talking about that, reason.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, let me pull it up from the. This is from the kind of the Walt Disney Company site, and this is like the official reporting from CinemaCon. So let me go ahead and read it from here. All right, here it is. So Elle Fanning, the star of 20th Century Studios' Predator Badlands, joins Cripps on stage. I don't know who's Cripps. I don't know, somebody else affiliated with it. And screened a first look at the trailer for the upcoming film directed by Dan Trachtenberg. The newest entry in the Predator franchise is set in the future on a remote planet where a young Predator, outcast from his clan, finds an unlikely ally in Tia and embarks on a treacherous journey in search of the ultimate adversary. Predator, Badlands comes out November 4th. So
okay, so they didn't officially say that. I'm not saying it's not true, by the way. I just want to make sure that because like I said, when it's Wikipedia, being that anybody like Fourth could get in there and type what they want to. I don't want to be the one that's spreading that around until we until it's official. But all I gotta do is say, Dan, if you're watching this, I thought this was when I was a kid. When in 1990, Aliens were, I thought this was a great idea until I saw it executed, and then I never wanted to see it again. If you are indeed going to do this, you probably already done this. I want you to sit down and I want you to watch AVP again. I want you to watch Rec Room again. And anything that is in those movies, do the exact opposite of. Please carry nothing over from those movies to whatever you're going to do. If indeed you're doing this, if this is indeed the road you have taken, we don't know yet. I haven't seen it official, even though But if this is the road you're going to take, you got to do better than your predecessors, because that was unacceptable.
Randy Quaid's coming back. No, that's like he had like one of the best death scenes of all time, like one of the best like heroic deaths. Like
one of the corniest lines as he died.
Hello, boys, I'm back.
That was
come on, man. Like, you call it corny all you want, man.
Lame. It was funny, but it was lame. I thought I understand, but like I said, the line was cheesy.
You got abducted. It's like he's saying like it's like I'm ready for some payback. You got it.
All right. The reason why they climb box office is because they keep on raising ticket prices. That's why they lower ticket prices. It's not going to happen. The people who run these things need to eat. The cost of living has gone up for everybody. So even if you're just not even talking about the corporate fat cats, what about the people who work there? You expect them to make, slave wage? I mean, the price of operating has gone up. So how can you lower prices? I mean, if your costs don't lower, how can you lower the prices? That's a tough one, Let's see. On a side note, Netflix might not need to run their mouth because they're the reason why damn prices to the point. How are they? I don't understand how they would be. And they've had 14 years to say no to Netflix, and they haven't. I don't think that's going to happen. It's too convenient. The same reason they're not going to say no to HBO Max. Same reason they're not going to say no to Disney Plus. It's convenient. PVOD, same thing. I mean, Ted Sarandos is the one who said the words, but the reality of the situation is coming from the consumer. The consumer has set this pace. The consumer, all Ted Sarandos and any other streamer and PVOD are doing is responding to the reality of the situation. I don't know. I don't know what's going to change that, to be honest with you. Okay. I got Netflix for WWE. That was a smart move by them. I watch Paramount and Amazon and Max now to watch Netflix. That's it. Yeah, I mean, and they all. I was just watching NHL. By the way, the Oilers got beat 6-2 by my Kings. They're down 2-0 going into Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Game 3 is Friday night. My soul needs the Edmonton Oilers gone. But anyway, I was watching that on HBO Max. I watch wrestling on HBO Max. I mean, this is but like I said, it's the customer that is spoken, not necessarily Ted Sarandos. Once again, we're not. Who's killing the box office? It's like the customer has decided that this is more convenient. If the customer decided otherwise, then they have no choice but to react. The smart people with the billions, they have that money for the most part because they react to the trends. The customer sets the trends, not these guys. If we start going to the movies more, and going to, and going to see some of these smaller movies in theaters that everybody says, oh, well, Mickey 17. Why did Mickey 17 lose money? That was a good movie. I actually got a chance to see that. But people didn't go see it. So, and then, like I said, a lot of these movies, another thing he really didn't add is a lot of these movies that get made, a lot of these shows that get made wouldn't happen if it were, reliant on box office dynamics. Some movies just wouldn't get made. And then your independent movies are just going to go away because there's no justification to make them. So he's right in more ways than he's wrong, if he's even wrong at all. I opened up the show at that. Yeah. Rest in peace. ALS is an ugly thing, man. There are two ailments that in my lifetime, however long I have on this planet, that I would like to see them get to the point where we have HIV. Because when I grew up with it, when I was a kid, HIV was a death sentence. It wasn't if, it was when. When you were diagnosed with AIDS or you were diagnosed with HIV, eventually you would develop AIDS-related complex, and then you would die. That's just how it was in the 80s when I was growing up, and all the way to the mid-90s. Eazy-E, NWA, diagnosed with AIDS. 3 weeks later, he was dead. It was just, there was no treatment for it at that point in time. And over the decades, they have developed AIDS research and AIDS treatment to the point where it's no longer an immediate death sentence. You can be taken care of. You can take a medication. You can become undetectable, and you can live out a normal life. I want Lou Gehrig's disease, which is ALS, and cancer to get to that point. Might not be a cure because you haven't cured HIV, but you've made it to where the Grim Reaper isn't doing this once you're diagnosed. ALS, most of the times you have an average lifespan, and it deteriorates. Same thing with Alzheimer's, man. I hope we get to the point where we get enough research, a leg up on research, where we can improve the quality of life and extend the lives of the people who get these things. Because once you're diagnosed with ALS, it's just, in most cases, it's the deterioration starts, and it sucks to watch. And Alzheimer's is the same thing. Dementia is the same thing. I mean, we got all this advancement. We got everything we need. Let's work on that. Should I do fundraisers for that? Because that's just like suicide prevention. To me, that's a disease. If I think we all gathered around and rallied, I think we could find. We did it for AIDS. Like I said, AIDS was a literal death sentence. When Magic Johnson in November of 1991 we had to retire from the Lakers because he had been diagnosed with HIV, everybody was on the clock about that guy. How long does Magic have left? Magic's like 300 pounds and 60-something years old and has been living with HIV for 36 years now, or 34 years now. So that's where I want to get these other diseases. But yeah, that's when it came to Stephen Michael, because he did die of ALS, and it sucks. The Lord prices $10, you still have $1 billion films. Yeah, but everybody gets a cut out of that, Antonio. See, this is when you say $1 billion, the studio doesn't get all that. In some cases, it's like a Tom Cruise or a Scarlett Johansson or some big name is in your movie, or Christopher Nolan. They get what's called first dollar bonuses, which means they get their money before anybody gets their other dividends. Then you're giving anywhere between 35 to 50% to the actual box office itself. Then whatever money you borrow to make the movie, you pay that back with interest. So yeah, it's tough to tell somebody I got to lower prices when the cost of doing business has not lowered. It sucks. And they can't lower prices for tickets and drinks because that's the theater. Yeah, they get their 35 to 40% or whatever off the ticket. They live and die on concessions. That's why when I'm at a theater, I am, like I said, other than William Powell Sr., William Powell Jr. is the cheapest person the cheapest person I know for sure. But when I'm at a theater, I get the pretzel, I get the soda. And especially in my case, I get to talk to the people because we have a good relationship with the theater that we use all the time. And so, we talk about this stuff all the time, and I want to support those guys. So I'll get that giant overpriced pretzel. I'll get that soda that's really expensive with a lot of ice in it. I'll get the churros or whatever, because I know that's what they exist on. And that's part of my experience, but they're not going to lower the prices of food. That's literally what keeps the lights on in some cases. Yeah, I mean, apparently it looks like it, but like I said, don't do it. At least don't do it yet. And to be honest with you, in all fairness, by the way, I probably trust 2025, 2020 and beyond Jan Trachtenberg than I do any of the people that were involved in those movies that I decried. Yeah, I think he's going through a trial. I think these are the trials that he's going to become one.
They specify, that he he's this somewhat younger predator, and I think that's maybe kind of like some of the intent with the idea of like his braids being pulled back, or his dreadlocks, as they're often called, having them pulled back like that, which I think that's the first for like any predator they've seen do that. They usually let them just hang out, and so I think the idea is to portray him as like maybe not like the predator equivalent of like a teenager, but maybe like young adult, maybe like
he's going through his rites of passage is what I mean.
It's like he'd be like our equivalent to like 19, 20 years old maybe.
Yeah, he's going through his basic training. Let's listen. Go ahead, Dan, do it. But you know what, you have the advantage of being able to look at Requiem. You have the advantage of looking at Resurgence. You have the advantage of hindsight to be able to be like, oh my God, this is what happens when this goes south real quick. So if you look at that and decide you're going to do in the same vein you did as Prey, all right, because guess what? You also had the advantage of looking at The Predator. I guess I'm thinking that they were being made slightly. There's a gap in between, but you remember your movie didn't get a big screen debut because of that god awful movie. So take care. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, I love Prey too. I love Prey, but I'm not ready personally to put it anywhere near get to the chopper. One man trash is another man's treasure. Yeah, exactly, dude. That's we should put that on a t-shirt because I think Terrifier's trash. And to the people who make Terrifier, you should not give two shits about my opinion because you made money hand over fist. I think your movies are trash, but you didn't make them for this kind of horror fan. You packed the house, and like I said, the best thing about seeing that awful movie was just the people getting into it. They love that movie, and I love seeing a director know his fans and make something that he knows his fans are going to enjoy. I'm not one of the fans of that movie, so it doesn't matter what I say.
And what we said there, it's like scary movie is one man's, i.e. mine, one man's trash, but nah, change your mind. It's objectively trash.
Okay, yeah, rational. I want to see it. You may or may be right, but I want to see it from them because you know how we've done these things where people have kind of like just gone on, and then at the end of the day, it does not be true. I don't need to be first. I just want to be right when it comes to because that changes how I approach this. My anticipation for this movie.
The other thing too, I mean that would make this kind of interesting is that the Weyland-Yutani androids in the Alien movies, they tend to be supporting characters, but this would be like kind of the closest, even though the main predator is going to be like the main lead, but this would be like probably the closest we've seen like an alien robot, being kind of center stage. I mean, like probably the best, like the most central one I think has been so far is probably Bishop in Aliens. Maybe you could say a little bit about Winona Ryder in Alien Resurrection, but again, it's like we're seeing a Weyland-Yutani robot potentially, and I mean, as far as I can tell from that trailer, there's no human characters in it.
I have not rewatched the trailer since today, so I'll have to go look. But once again, I'm not. My biggest gripe against it is the last time we merged these universes, it was shit. When something is shit, I really don't have the desire to revisit it. Now, like I said, Dan Trachtenberg has done, he has the potential to improve it, but I just have no desire to see it again. And I didn't zoom in. I'm not an Easter egg guy right now. I mean, I saw it this morning, and the second time I saw it today. So yeah. Sorry guys if I haven't been pressing my eyeballs up to the screen today. I did have some things to do. Are you sure? Well, as of when? Because we have a walrus in here who sure as fuck did it one day. No, like you, jackass. What are you laughing about? It's not like I'm not going to see it. No, I listen. Denial about what? It's not. Guys, stop using words like cope and denial, like we're dealing with love, interest, and like stuff that actually matters in the world. No, I don't want to see it again. Be honest with you, because the last time I saw it, it was absolute fucking garbage. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit reprehensible about seeing. You know, I don't need another Requiem. And I don't need Independence Day given that treatment until we've established a good sequel with Independence Day, because that last one was awful. Hi Ray, how you doing? Classing up the joint. Here we go. Once again, that's not where they should be starting, in my opinion. And two, what happened the last time we got it? So, I mean, until I see something better than what I saw last time, I don't want to see it again.
I mean,
And I definitely don't want to see it done the way, you know, and it has to be for the right reasons. See, people want to throw shit together just to see some shit. They don't ever think about the story. They don't ever think about the nuts and the bolts of each IP. They don't think about long form. They just want to throw some shit together and see it because it's cool.
I mean, one AVP movie that didn't work doesn't mean the AVP an AVP movie can never work.
I need to see it work first before I give a shit about it being done again. All right. So, but yeah.
We got another crossover right here too.
Yeah.
Redder and Mad Max.
You guys are joking, but you're right though. That is the silliness of the slippery slope. If when Jan Trachtenberg does it, and it makes 100% sense how he's doing it, and it's not just for just for a flashpoint. These things are interwoven into the story, and it actually works, unlike it did before in the previous thing. That's fine. That's fine, and I'll have to see it to judge it. But if it's just being done like, "Oh, look at that" type of situations, that's how bad movies get made. All right, let's see. William, I'm for the work of the people who are for the people who work in the movie theaters to get higher pay. I wouldn't have a problem with you. That's a problem. Then you're just going to shut down the movie theaters. Okay. In order for you to be able to pay someone more, your revenues have to be to where you can pay them. And if the cost of operating are already at a point where you're barely breaking even, which is most box offices, then how are you paying them more? I'm all for people making more money. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Make as much cash as you can. But at the same time, where is the money coming from? You know what I mean? So if you're making whatever, I don't know, whatever, where average is $10 an hour or whatever. I don't think that's it. I'm just throwing out a number. And you say, okay, well, I think that person should make $14 an hour. In order for yeah, that sounds great. And maybe it's, that person may have to move on to another job to make that. But it's within your infrastructure and your cost and your profit and loss and everything else, where does that fit? You're probably just going to end up either going to do one of two things. You're going to have undermanned theaters, or you're going to end up having the theaters not being able to operate and close up. I don't know if I want that. I understand what you're saying, but it's tough math, I just don't believe that AMC, Regal are paying workers good money. Okay, but once again, the profit margin for a theater is razor nothing. You see what I mean? You're literally getting half of the product that you're putting on the screen. And most of these places don't, some of them own the land that they're on, but most of them are renting. Like the AMC down here, AMC Town Square, they rent that place. So they're renting, most of the AMCs I know are on very expensive pieces of land. Where the one that's near the strip, the one I go to, is on very expensive parcel. Somebody told me they may be paying 15 to 20 grand a month minimum for their spot. That's minimum. And if you go to the one in Vegas at Town Square, where it sit in a high-end place like that, right where the airport is, right where the strip is, I can believe it's probably way more than that. So their margins are already short. I don't know where the money is coming from. 120-day windows is how you create promo. Otherwise, people will just wait for stream. But that's never going to happen, though, because the studios got to make money too. The studios once they release this movie, the timer is on for them to get as much profit as they can before it gets to a certain level. And right now, 120 days in a theater, or even 90 days, is probably never going to happen again, because you're talking about keeping a movie at bay where they're giving up 50% and then bonuses and everything else. Where as soon as they put it on PVOD, they get a substantially higher yield for their dollar. So, and that's why people are like, wait, 45-day winners, like the AMC chief saying 45. By the way, he was one of the ones that helped drive it to 30. But I just don't see that genie coming back out of the bottle because of the convenience of the customer and the profit margin of the studio. I just don't see how that math works for either of them. So let's see. No, they're not, because they'll if they're putting it on PVOD, if they're justifying putting a big draw movie, they got it in the theater for 30 days, if that, and then it goes on to streaming where the people who you can't get to the movies can see it, but they can still maintain their subscription. You're justifying more than $100 million. So why Netflix spends so much money? That it is more valuable to Netflix. Netflix doesn't make money to make it back dollar for dollar. They make things to maintain or grow their subscriptions. And by doing so, the people who, invest in their company, because Netflix is a publicly traded company, can, continue to invest, and that value of the company is there. And they're able to take out loans. They're able to get financing. That's how that works. Apparently one of these YouTubers were tripping over the first look of the Predator. I hope that was a troll. I think it looks fine. Yes, Aaron, this is what you need to do. I don't care if you need to get the TARDIS. I don't care if you need to get the Star Trek, the time machine. I don't care what you need to do. Make it so that he was snatched in time, and he's doing a Groundhog Day, and he has to keep going back in time until he doesn't crash that thing that he got crashed, or whatever. Do what you need to do. Get Will Smith, who still looks great now. Get Will Smith, open up the briefcase and say, here, how many briefcases do we have to do? We think we can make a lot of money on a good Independence Day. And all we got to do is Highlander to it, make it so where that movie doesn't exist. And guess what? Come up with a simple explanation of why that movie never happened. There you go. And you call it, you know what? You call it ID42, because remember, Independence Day it was just called Resurgence. I don't think it was ID42. I think people nicknamed ID42, but you named the Will Smith-led movie ID42, Independence Day 2. And you just forget about Resurgence. Yeah, good. That's what we need to do. Well, if she is a Weyland-Yutani robot, there's probably a couple different models of her. Because that Bishop, how they did that there. You wish that was kept under wraps? Well, apparently if he's doing it, that's probably part of his story. But it's just weird that you would start off dealing with alien Predator type connections immediately when you're not telling a story about that franchise. I'm not bringing up Scary Movie Progress. Yeah, okay. I'll bet. Speaking of Scary Movie 6, Marlon Wayans hinted that it may also be a Sinners. If he's doing it, I can guarantee you Sinners is going to get parodied. And Michael B. Jordan would have it no other way. It's just because he has a sense of humor, but I'm not for that.
It's not going to get parodied well, to be clear.
A parody is subjective.
Yeah, look back over the preceding 5 movies. It's not going to be good jokes. It's going to be telling.
As with any multiverse, I think you have to establish each franchise well before you go multiverse hunting. Otherwise, like I said, it's just an attraction. If he's doing this and it's part of a long-term mythology that then I'm fine with it. what it was done last time, it was just because, everybody's, oh, wouldn't it be cool if we threw these things together and it's going to be cool? And it wasn't. Now I trust Dan Trachtenberg more because of what I've seen from him. If you end up with everything under the sun in your universe and each and every one of those things makes sense, I'm okay with it. I don't want to see what happened last time where it's just, you listen to some loud voices in the room that weren't writing stories, that didn't appreciate the lineage of either IP and just slap some shit together. I don't want to see that. So, Dan, good luck, man. All right. One unsuccessful universe collision doesn't mean the entire idea is bad. Alien Predator is a movie that can't work. I don't believe so. But you know what? If there's anybody that can change my mind, it's the guy who changed my mind when I said the franchise was dead. Because after the Predator, I was ready to dig a 6-foot plot in the ground and put Predator in it. The Predator franchise was going to die, and I was going to hold a eulogy for it and everything else. So if anybody can change, I'm not really interested in saying Alien versus Predator if it's for the wrong reasons, because the last time they did it, it was absolute fucking trash, and it was done for the wrong reasons. So I got to see it. Like I said, but I haven't seen anything else but what I've seen. So that's what I'm basing my opinion on. Yeah, you're right. It could be great, and it could suck. And I have evidence, in my opinion, of the suck. I don't have evidence of the greatness that's potential. So the jury's still out. This jury's still out. Yeah, that's all I'm asking. Do it in the pace of your story. It needs to make sense. Why is this android there? What is it linking? Is it what period of time are we in? Are we linking this up with something contemporary? Is this a Romulus type of thing? Is this a Prometheus type of thing? Is this a Covenant type of thing? What are we doing? See, that's what I mean. You have to establish these things, and if he's doing this, I hope he sat down with everything on the table and taken his pencil and drawn his logical lines. And if he's done that, then fine. It's fine. You can have Wile E. Coyote in your movie. If you've made it make sense, I'm all for it. I just have the ghost in my head from when it didn't make sense and people just wanted to see shit thrown together. I'm scarred. It'll take me some time to get over that, guys. Sorry. Why is Zen Ortega's eyes leering over you guys?
He's talking about the thumbnail.
I actually kind of like that thumbnail, by the way. I don't usually do good thumbnails for the weekly shows because I usually don't have enough time. But this one kind of lends itself into something that was kind of cool. So let me get a couple of these Predator ones out the way, and then we're gonna watch the Wednesday. Oh my dude, you're gonna lose so much money. Mars Attacks lost a shitload of money at first. It took them 10 years to gain that money back. Hear me out, Wayland Yutani. The Wayland company consumes another small robotics company, the one that makes. Oh Jesus Christ! Why did I not see that where that was going? You in this Megan movie? Are you getting a Megan 2.0 tattoo, Fourth? Oh yeah, now they're talking Megan and Predator. See where this is going. All right, let's do Wednesday. All right. I thought this was a little bit on the hilarious side. Like I said, I enjoyed the season one. I didn't think I was. I thought I had written that off because I hadn't seen anything from Tim Burton that I enjoyed since Ed Wood. So I was pleasantly surprised with season one and have been looking forward to season two. Here we go.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens.
Anything else on your person?
Brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things.
You care to explain this?
Sun cream. Seriously?
I thought that was hilarious.
This is the first time you've ever willingly returned to a school. How does it feel?
Like returning to the scene of the crime.
Howdy, Ruby.
I already know where the bodies are buried. Let's play dolls. I mean, it is a little creepy, but the curls are super soft. It's made from real human hair. Wherever there's murder and mayhem, you will always find an Adams.
Every family has dark secrets, Wednesday. And secrets can have deadly consequences.
You don't need to worry about me, Mother. I do my best work in the dark.
Ooh, they're pulling a
Alright.
Cobra Kai. They're pulling a Cobra Kai here, part 1, part 2.
Band. They're doing
Yeah.
the Stranger Things is what they're doing. Stranger Things did that before Cobra Kai did, by the way.
Yeah, but Cobra Kai did it best.
Yeah, okay. Viewership wise, I think Stranger Things is one of the most viewed things ever. I enjoyed that trailer. Like I said, I was pleasantly surprised with Wednesday. I have been less than enamored with Tim Burton since the 90s. And like I said, I will give him his props for the things that he has done that I really enjoy. Ed Wood is an excellent movie, and that's a Tim Burton movie.
I mean, the first Batman, obviously.
Yeah, the second one.
What else?
Edward Scissorhands. But see, like I said, once you get into the mid 90s, I just lost.
Beetlejuice, both Beetlejuices, really.
I have no use for either.
Well, and then my all-time favorite is even more so than Batman, and it's I would say a Sleepy Hollow. Like his Sleepy Hollow is awesome. His Sleepy Hollow is, and I wrote a piece on Screen Rant a while back where I said, it's basically like a supernatural Terminator what he did with Sleepy Hollow. So, yeah, but the kind of consensus between Wednesday and Beetlejuice is I think the consensus is that Burton, he's kind of returned to his roots. He's kind of back at the top, like his top form between these two. Because he in the last couple of years he said he had a little bit of a lull there. Yeah.
Oh, fine. I gotta find it first because I didn't have any plans on playing it. Go ahead and finish your point while.
Oh no, this is my point.
Okay.
He's just made it, kind of, made a pretty big comeback. It's like a return to form kind of thing. Is the reception he's got between Wednesday and Beetlejuice.
For me, I don't know. I know I'm in the minority. I have never been a big fan of Beetlejuice either. I saw both of them because we promoted the second one. It just never did anything for me. All right, let's see. What was it? It's I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, right? Is that
I think it's just called I Know What You Did Last Summer. They should have called it I Know You Did 28 Summers Ago.
No, that's stupid.
Well,
that's dumb. That's dumb on the movie that they are using it on 28 years. Which one is it?
Well, especially because it's been like only 21 years since, or 23 years. See, and I know it's like you're asking a lot of a studio from a business standpoint, but if they just waited 5 years, they could have had that. It could have actually been 28 years, or
they would have gotten sued. Is it the same studio from 28 years later?
That I don't know. I need to look.
They would have gotten sued because that's like blatant.
How's it blatant? How you get sued? It's like you're capitalizing. It's like this is 28 years after when the original came out.
It's already been, that term has been used for entertainment purposes already. I'm trying to find this.
Okay, call it 28 years hence or something.
Well, then that's just dumb. Where is this trailer?
No, I'll get it.
Yeah, because I can't find. Because I wasn't looking for it. I'm passing hard on that movie.
Okay, here it is. Yeah, I got it. Let me get it up here.
Yeah, Edward Scissorhands was before he got kind of goofy.
Trip.
Well, he's always been goofy.
With experiences like street food.
Oh, of course, you have the free version of YouTube.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Baby.
All right, we'll go ahead and play on it. Everybody ready? Yep.
You okay? Why don't you go upstairs and do that guided meditation you like?
Thank you. Find a peaceful setting and close your eyes. Imagine a white light calling you.
Hello?
Now, feel that love entering your body.
So she's literally taking a bloodbath
and
here.
Emanating out from your chest. Take a deep breath in and remember the energy you give to the universe always comes back to you.
Do you think this is some kind of karma for what we did?
What if someone saw what happened?
You need to handle this. This isn't the first time there's been violence like this in Southport.
Look who it is.
It's not going to stop.
I need to start drinking. Someone is coming after us. I need your help. I just have one question. What did you do last summer?
This place is so beautiful, it makes me want to die.
Okay, well that's probably a giveaway there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Well,
bad.
there you go, Rational.
Yeah, that's kind of intriguing actually. The original I thought was pretty good. The second one, I barely remember. I still know we did last summer, because that's the one where they like go to Jamaica or something, and
You're asking the wrong guy. Sorry, I just haven't been that into that franchise since the original one. I mean, you know. Oh, you're welcome, Rational. Like I said, I'm not into the movie, but who knows? I mean, I may promote it. I might even go see it anyway.
I'd be surprised if they send you stuff. I mean, they'll probably send you like the hook, you know. I know how they're going to make like a popcorn bucket out of that.
Maybe the fisherman head. I don't know, but not every movie's going to get a popcorn bucket because some of the movies are going to be like impossible to do.
Maybe they can make that into like the straw for the cup, you know, the hook. I just thought.
Fair enough.
I mean, it's a weird way to kind of like have to hold the cup to make that work, but yeah.
They didn't go. Okay, see, I didn't see this movie, so you guys got me blind.
It's been a long time for me with the second one, and the first one I've definitely seen. Well, it's still been a long time for that, but I've seen it more recently than I have the second one.
Margot, you're watching live. I usually get your comments later on. She's one of our commenters that hasn't lost their mind. But she usually is not watching live. Pedro and Dan are good friends and know their franchise. A crossover would be great because they wouldn't let us down. I liked one AVP. I like that one AVP where he was the hero. Oh, you're talking about the first one who gave it. I was let down by AVP. Because like I said, I grew up, 14 years before they did that movie. It was a very famous Dark Horse comic. And they went in a different direction, and it just didn't really appeal to me on any level. The second one had no. Second one was like just basically, you know what? We're just gonna do slashers. You guys very may well be right about that, but I gotta see it though because the last thing I saw when these two franchises got together left a bad taste in my mouth, and all these franchises have had wounds to the point where I would like to see these franchises build on their own before they start crossing the signals like in Ghostbusters. So that's just me. But thank you for being here, Marco. Like I said, I usually don't get to see you on here live.
Faculty is getting a remake. The Faculty is pretty. I like the Faculty a lot. The Faculty was probably one of Rodriguez's. But my number one for him, my all time or one for him probably would be Alita Battle Angel. And even that's kind of weird to say with that because that is kind of like it's kind of like a half and half sort of Cameron and Rodriguez project.
I don't think those two gentlemen mix. I did not like that movie at
Oh,
all.
that's no man. That's that made me an Alita fan. We need to watch party that. That is one
can do a watch party.
That is that's not even like the Kung Fu sci-fi. It has plenty of it, but that is absolutely sci-fi.
It wasn't for me.
If we're talking like,
they don't need to remake the Faculty. Let's stop. Well, first of all, stop with the remakes. 2, the Faculty belongs in the late 90s, early 2000s lore of the way they were. I don't see what you could do more that they didn't do in that movie. They really covered a lot of ground in that movie that I don't think.
All right, William froze again. I'm gonna wait for him to unfreeze.
That type of movies to where the Faculty, that was a groundbreaking movie. We froze for a little bit. That was a groundbreaking movie at that time, and I don't see any new ground has been broken to where that needs to be redone.
I discovered The Offspring through that movie too. Like, and have you ever seen? I'm sure like you guys have seen like Offspring on the Vox stream. And I think Film Junkie brought this up one of the times when I was on because we actually talked a bit about the Faculty, and he talked about like he and a buddy of his they were like on spring break or something. They back when we didn't call it like PVOD, we called it pay-per-view back then. They rented the Faculty, and they got such a kick out of the fact that that Robert Patrick's character like really reminded them of like their high school football coach. Apparently that guy like really.
You told me about that.
Yeah, it's like the guy. I kind of want to see what that. I'd like to again like knowing what Rodriguez or Robert Patrick and that. It's like he's like as the T-1000, he's very machine like his performance obviously. And he's so far in the opposite direction. In the Faculty, he's just this, just constantly just swearing and chewing out his players, and it makes me wonder. Like, yeah, that guy. I guess that must have been like quite a coach. It's quite a member.
Mighty Rex, Spider-Man, as of this week, has fought Predator 2. So there you go. Scream is a better franchise. Clearly, I like Valentine's Day. I think they came out in 1990. Yeah. The first Scream I thought was epic. It lost it for me after that.
I think for me, the best of the series for me really is number 2. It is in the Scream franchise. Like first 2 are great. 3 I'm kind of so on. 4 wasn't bad. And then actually I thought 5 was pretty good. So they're it's ebbed and flowed, but I feel like the peak of the series so far has been the first 2.
Yeah, the second one was dumb. I thought the first one was you tried a lot of stuff that they tried, and the second one was basically me paying for a slightly changed first movie that I had paid for in the first one, and then the other ones I just didn't even bother with for the most part. Why didn't Minecraft get a popcorn bucket? I'm surprised.
The second one's going to get. They're going to.
Yeah, but we're already knee deep in these popcorn buckets. Why wouldn't a movie like that have one out there already? I mean, a square. I mean, it's got to be a square. I mean, I don't know.
By the way, maybe here's the thought. Maybe they didn't want to like because of how crazy the screenings have been. Maybe they didn't want to like feed too much of that.
Something to throw.
They shaped it like a chicken. That's like then okay. Now we're kind of like setting people up to just go more nuts. Yeah.
And they're like a square duck in there.
I still get that again. That story about the guy actually brought a live chicken.
Well, yeah, we showed.
What the fuck are you doing, man?
Top 5 Rodriguez films for me: El Mariachi, Desperado, From Dusk Till Dawn, Faculty, and Sin City. That would probably line up with mine as well.
Yeah, again, it's like Alita is like of the ones again, he directed it, but it was also like Cameron's pet project. So it is, is kind of like a symbiosis between them. So technically speaking, I would say Alita is my number 1 from him. If we're talking about ones where it's like, it wasn't like he was kind of teaming up with another filmmaker to, because Cameron handed it to him because he was just so busy with Avatar. He's like, the only way I'm going to get realized is somebody has to direct it. But as far as like Rodriguez, like what is like just strictly, what he brought about his directing, I actually think Faculty might be my number 1 for him. Faculty is like Faculty really cut. Faculty really, in a very chilling way, captures like what American high schools are like.
This
I
in the
mean,
90s because I was in high school in the 90s. That's probably you mirrored my list. I don't have a lead anywhere. I just don't think it's that great. It wasn't for me. Chicken jockey.
But again, people are probably throwing that around.
Yeah, that probably hurt somebody.
Yeah.
He produced one of the best. I mean, my opinion.
Yeah, well, and that's kind of why I had to make that caveat because that's similar to what Cameron's role in Alita. That was kind of like Rodriguez's role in Predators. Was like he didn't direct it, but it was his pet project. So,
Yeah,
but I still rate if you're talking about like his role like on any level, that also rates very high for me. Predators is like my top 3 franchise are again. It's so neck and neck for me. Prey and Predator. And then right below, just below both those would be Predators. And then pretty close after that would be Predator 2, I would say. And so hopefully, Badlands.
Yeah, 1 is Predator, 2 is Predator 2. 3 is Predators, and 4 is Prey. I stopped counting after that.
Yeah.
All right. What is top? Desperado. Well, okay.
So fourth, are you a Desperado fan? I can't quite tell.
All right, guys. I think that's where we're gonna wrap it up. A little bit longer. We got our trailers out the way. We are now midway through the week. We are a week and a half away from pre-comic book day.
Oh, Planet Terror is actually like his half of a Grindhouse.
Yeah. I would. That's right outside my 5. There are some weak points about it, but it's still a lot of fun. It's kind of cheesy and it's cliche, but that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's cheesy. It's got a chick with a machine gun legs, of course.
And there's other shit in that just blows your mind. And if you are a fan of Grindhouse movies, he kind of takes it over the top. If you're not a fan of Grindhouse movies from the 70s, don't even waste your time because
I was actually that was when I worked in a movie theater. That was when I was working in a movie theater. That was when that came out. So I got to taking people in there, and then after once my shift was over, it's like pick whatever my freebie I could take, and that was one of the ones I did that week. Was definitely Planet Terror. Well, or was Grindhouse because it was 2 for 1.
All right, my top 4 Predator films: Predators, Prey, Predator 2. Yeah, so you got the same movies. I just got mine mixed around. I love Predator 2. Predator 2 is an awesome sequel.
We did a watch party of that, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
We've done a watch party, I think, of all of these except for Predators.
Yeah, because I don't think we may have even done Predators. It's been so long.
Yeah, we've done enough watch parties where it's like we tend to it's like, oh right, we did a watch party of that.
Yeah, I stopped counting at 4 because then you start diving into AVP, you start diving into the Predator. I really did not, and like I said, for somebody who spent 14 years anticipating that movie and really wanted to enjoy Alien versus Predator, I just thought there was no story structure there that really moved either IP in a good direction. It looked cool. Don't get me wrong. AVP is a beautiful movie, but a lot of the lore that they just left on the table was just kind of kind of disappointing. And then AVP or Requiem was just a slasher, and I'm all for a good slasher, but you have 2 historic IPs there, and then the Predalien. It was just so bad. So no, Dan, do better than that, please. Yeah, it's fun. It's complete. Who's on mute?
Yeah, I think you might. Was talking about me because William's on mute. How come I can hear him?
We might have been when we froze. He might have started.
Yeah, it's crazy fun. It's complete horse shit as far as anything resembling like realism, but but it's a lot of fun.
It was a dark movie. I don't think it's underrated. I think for me, it's rated right where it is. This is a personal preference. I just thought the story and the mythology that they decided to go with was just not good. The whole settling the plan. It might have been when we glitched out. So. All right. Well, hey, tomorrow's Thursday. I'll probably be on a little bit earlier because I got some stuff to do later on in the evening. So you guys will get a Thursday show, NFL draft tonight. I'm just not there, man. That's the one thing about the NFL I just don't care about is the draft. Fantasy football, I'll watch the games. I don't bet because I'm too cheap. But when it comes to the draft, I don't watch enough college football, to be honest with you. I know Shedeur Sanders that dart dude. I mean, I don't watch enough. I don't watch enough college football to really know about the prospects coming out. And that, by the way, that's what any of the sports I watch. By the way, any of the sports, I don't watch the lower levels of them to know. You know, I mean, when there's like a phenom, like a Wembanyama, somebody like that, I'll hear about him, like LeBron when he came out. That's about it. But when it comes to the draft, I'm not going to know anybody, most of those guys on there. I'll see them on Sunday, when they start playing. So, but the draft is a huge thing. It's a huge thing out here. It's a big thing. People take vacation time to go get to make sure that they're around for the draft. So, once again, I'm in the minority. So you guys have fun with that draft. All right. That is it for tonight. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you for just watching. Sometimes just watching is the biggest help the show can have on its path to glory. And I will see you. Get your favorite Superman stories ready, because Saturday night, I don't know what time we're actually going to be doing the show, but that's going to be the topic. I really want to explore what is people's favorite Superman story, and it's going to be a friendly conversation. And I want you guys to be able to do this without weaponizing the character. Not just what you're looking forward to. What is your favorite Superman? I have mine, so I'll have mine out there. But we're going to do that on Saturday. So you have a couple days to start thinking, and let me know why it's your favorite Superman story, why how it affects you. When did you come upon this story? Because sometimes that when you experience these Superman stories is as much part of why you love them as anything else. So be prepared for that, because we're going to have a lot of fun with that this weekend. I'm actually going to have fun with Superman. I know it's hard for some people, but I'm going to actually have some fun with Superman here on out. So until then, have a very good latter half of your week, and we will see you on Friday on the Vodka stream if I'm invited, tomorrow night at probably about 8ish, and then Saturday to be determined. Talk to you later.
Later, guys.